Alright guys, I did the chapter The Ferryman, and in this chapter, Siddhartha pretty much just wants to get away from everything. He wants to just be with the river, he wants to learn from the river, he wants to be able to listen to the river. If you guys remember in the chapter Samsara, he meets this ferryman who takes him across the river for no payment, but just he wants Siddhartha's friendship. He meets this ferryman again. At first, they get on a boat because Siddhartha wants to go across the river. At first, they don't recognize each other, but then they get to talking. Um, they then, once they introduce each other, they immediately connect. They're like, "Hey, what's up? How's it been?" Um, so they go across the river into well, the ferryman's name is Vosudeva. So they go to his hut. So pretty much, Vosudeva is interested in Siddhartha's life. So Siddhartha pretty much just tells him his life story. The ferryman listens. He's really interested about it. Siddhartha wanted to learn from the ferryman. He wanted to learn about the river and all this other kind of stuff. So the ferryman offered Siddhartha to stay with him and learn from him. Um, so Vasudeva taught Siddhartha many things about the river. Siddhartha learned how to listen to the river, listen to the voices of all the people who went across the river, and all this other kind of stuff. Uh, so Siddhartha and the ferryman were some people thought they were like brothers, that they were just such good friends. So that they took people across the river many times, and one day a bunch of monks start to get on the boat, and Siddhartha and the ferryman are taking them across, and they hear that Gautama is very ill and sick. So Siddhartha is really well. He's worried, but he doesn't make too big of a deal about it, just because he didn't really accept it. Well, he accepted his teachings, but yeah. Um, so yeah, he learns Gautama's dying, and this is where Kamala comes into the picture. Kamala wants to be able to see Gautama one last time because Siddhartha influenced her so much on her religion. So Kamala and her son, which is Siddhartha's son as well, are walking to the boat to go see Gautama. Um, and Kamala's son pretty much starts complaining a bunch about being sore and tired, so they rest. And then they go on a little bit more. He starts complaining more and more. So finally, they stop and take like a 5 minute break, and a snake goes and bites Kamala. So Kamala is freaking out. Her son's freaking out. Um, they call for help, and eventually, the ferryman hears the cries, and Siddhartha was, I think, making a fire or something at that point. He didn't really at first notice, but after that, um, the ferryman took Kamala into his hut, and then Siddhartha and Kamala confronted each other, talked about it, said, "Do you remember me?" and all this, and explained that her son was his son as well, and Kamala eventually just died from the snake bite, from the poison. Um, Siddhartha was all depressed, and he sat and listened to the river all night. And then they built a funeral pyre on the same hill as Vasudena's wife, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.